What's going on, everyone? Luke here again, Mr. F2 little mini series for Q4, because obviously everyone wants to get prepared as much as possible, and a lot of people that are in their first year even, and it's their first Q4, like, you can only guess, like I mentioned in the first video, you can only guess what you need to do or what you should be good at, you know, what you need to just maybe brush up on, because I found that with Q4, if you implement a little improvement in everything you're doing, you can literally like 2x your sales, for example. I mean, that's just throwing a number out, but you know, like, yes, it will be very, very a lot of hard work for like 3 months. Let's say for 3 months. So probably looking around the end of September-ish to the 22nd of December, that sort of bracket. So like the 22nd of September to the 22nd of December, 3-month period. Yes, you know, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to put all that hard work in, and I'm talking about like ridiculous hard work, so literally probably all of your spare time. Obviously, you don't have to. You can outsource as much as you want, and that will cost you more in expenses, but I'm talking about if you want to try to limit your expenses enough. Have obviously software and a couple of extensions to help you, but obviously, you know, you can outsource as much as you want and make less and less profit. But I'm talking about people that just want to have a really good Q4 for their first year. That's the people I'm sort of aiming at this video for, because a lot of people that have done it already don't probably need it, or maybe need a refresher, but that's it. And obviously you don't want to go crazy with your expenses, because then you make no money and then you'll be deflated for next year. I mean, when January comes as well, you're going to be like, what the hell is January? Even, you know, it's worse, and for me it was the worst thing I'd ever seen, like, after Q4 last year. So I'll also be sort of touching on that at the end of this series. But we're talking about Keepa. So I know you're probably thinking, what is this dog thing doing on the screen? We're not actually talking about the dog as such, we're talking about the Keepa graph down here. So you can see it. This is Keepa. Most of you should know what it is. If you don't, then it's just a free plugin on Google Chrome. Just go to, basically just type in Keepa Google Chrome in Google, download it, because this is free, and it's basically you almost if you can get really like an expert at this, you don't need anything else. Ignore that beep. You don't need anything else. There's other plugins. You can see here, I've got a Bybot Pro here on the right. So this I'm testing this at the moment. I'll be doing a review video on Bybot Pro. I did one on FBA multi-tool about 2 months ago, which is very similar to this. You know, it gives you the same data. They're both a bit different to each other. This has a bit more sort of a bit more detail to it here for little things, but I haven't looked into fully everything yet. So I'm just sort of, I need to do a bit more before I bring up that video. But that'll be a video coming soon. So this is almost like an extension to Keepa, but really you don't need it if you are like an expert. So I'm trying to bring you guys to like an expert level of Keepa, because you know, you think everyone knows what Keepa is and everyone has a reasonable knowledge, but I know people that have messaged me saying, what is this rank is this of a product, and you know, you can see the rank down here. Here, so it's 9,000 in toys. So a lot of people actually, I know people that don't even use Keepa and they only use this rank. And wow, yeah, just using a rank is it's a surefire way of probably losing, not necessarily straight away or in 3 months, but long term. You cannot just rely on this. And definitely when you got subcategories moving on here, and yeah, it's just a world of hurt if you get caught in that. So I'm just going to go over Keepa. I've got a couple of examples, and I just want to show you everything that I've got here, the way I've got it laid out here, so you can see exactly what I've got, and go from there. So we can see quickly what it is. It's a robot dog thing. This has been out for ages. I was selling this last Christmas, and what you find actually is you think a lot of time like, oh, it'll be out for a couple of months or 6 months, and then it probably won't exist anymore. But a lot of these toys have been out for years, and they are just cycled through. And everyone looks at it like, oh, this looks really cool. Like, this must be quite a new product. It's probably not. I don't know if it's got the details, but it could have come out. Sometimes it says. So this has been available since June 2016. But it could have come out a little bit before that, and someone then created the listing. But there's products that are, so 782 days here, you can see. That's the length of the sort of product on Amazon. But yeah, they're normally, every Christmas you can get the same items that are really good. And this is bestseller in robot, you know, and it's still bestseller after being out for a year and a half or a year and a bit. So let's just jump into Keepa. So the way I've got it laid out is I've got Amazon. You don't really need Amazon because I normally don't sell any. I used to sell to Amazon sold, but it's very risky because you don't know what they're going to do because it's their platform. They actually have different rules for themselves, obviously, as they would. So they decide if they want to give you any of the buy box. Sometimes they give you none of the buy box, and if they give you none of the buy box, they just get every sale, and your product just sits there forever. Or you recall it, or you just crash the price, and then Amazon give you the page for like 5 minutes, and then you sell as much as you can. So yeah, I always do this because you want to know if Amazon sell on this product. So if Amazon sell on this product, you'll see a big like orange wall in the background, and it'll basically look like this blue line, but it'll be orange, and you'll be so you can see like the guide here, and yeah, just if you see that, just don't worry about it. If you see a tiny bit of Amazon, maybe here, like for about a week, and then for the last 3 or 4 months it's nothing, and then I'd say it's okay. But be careful because they can jump back on that listing, and they can jump on any listing at any time. So they could jump on this product for Christmas, for example. You never know. That's sort of how it works. I've got new. I've got used. I don't really need used, so we can take that off. You don't need the warehouse deals, but I just got it on. It just shows you that there's been warehouse deals. All you really need is the buy box, which is here. Sales rank, new. And I have Amazon to make sure I'm aware if they are selling. And then you can also click this, it's show graph. That's not it. Here we are. So make sure it looks like this originally, and none of these are selected. So you want to actually just select them, and then you want to click the more historical data, which then gives you nothing apparently. Let's just see if it's let's just play that. It's being stupid, isn't it? Alright, well, I'll refresh the page, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of examples and show you the differences in Keepa graphs over the examples and what to look for, not just for how many sales a product does or how many buyers there are on a product, more to do with like little things to help you avoid things like suspensions or policy warnings, or to see if a product's a little bit dodgy in terms of the product's fine itself but dodgy to sell the item, so a bit of a higher risk item to sell. So that's better. So to start off, you can see the buy box price here. Okay, so it's 52.90, it's 52.19 up here, but it's pretty much the same. And you can see it's changed between 51. You can just see it's just that, like with every product on Amazon, it fluctuates here, and goes up and down. So the highest is I wouldn't really take that one there. The highest is like 60, and the lowest is 46. And you can see here that it changes. So whenever I buy a product, I would, with the 3-month view here, I'd always check the lowest, which is this, and I would then check what I would be making profit if it does go back to this price. And with BuyBot Pro, you can just, so I would change this to 46. Let's just type in 46. Let's say I got it for $29.99. And yeah, so I'm gonna do a BuyBot Pro review on this. Basically, you type in your amounts. You also have some settings here, but it gives you your profit ROI 10%, £3. Yeah. But if you were going to type in 52.19, so yeah, so I think PC's like max just literally running at about a -2% a day. Oh, come on. There you go. And there's actually, well, another thing to look at is 12 sellers. So I usually combine the number of sellers with Keepa. So that's one thing to remember. So Keepa's there. £26.44. Now, the thing I've noticed about this, it always says low, but for me, if I was buying this item at $29.99, and I was making £8 profit, I would be buying 10 of these. That's what I'd be doing. So something like BuyBot Pro is actually, I'll go into a video of course, but it's much more, I feel, suited for beginner people to intermediate people. I mainly use it to see what it gives me down here, ROI and profit. I don't actually look at any of the other stuff. Hazmat is the only one I look at as well. I don't look at any of the other data because I actually take £5 profit. If I've got £5 in the bank, for example, and yes, I'm buying it for £29.99, but surely I'd rather make £5 if I've got £5 in the bank. I could buy 166 units of this if I wanted. And if I looked at this and I was like, you know what, I could buy 160. I'd rather make a little bit of money than no money on the £5. I'd say I can do 10 sales. So if I've got the £5, so 10 sales times, I can make 50 quid profit by buying 10 and sell them in a month. Well, then a £50 extra a month, you know, can pay for like a subscription to something, you know. And I take £5, and this is actually 8. So if you're able to sell 10, you'll be getting 80 quid. So that's actually how I play it. £5 is my minimum profit, regardless of the ROI, as long as it's not something stupid like 5% ROI. So down here, let's carry on as we were talking. So you can see this green line is the rank, and you can see as you move around, it changes the rank. Yeah. So you can see the lower the rank, the better. So if it was a 1 ranking, it would be the best selling product in that category. And it was ranked 1, wasn't it, up here? Now don't get confused by #1 bestseller as being the one bestseller in toys, because it's not, it's a subcategory, so I would be very cautious. So what you want to look out for is 2 things. 1 is a sale, so you can register and figure out what sale is, and 2 is a false sale. So it looks like it could be a sale, but it's actually not a sale. So if you were trying to add up the number that you could get, you might pick the wrong number. So sales are, I think it's very obvious when looking at this, but you wouldn't know any different. So a false sale is here. This is the biggest sort of band I can see. There's one here. They're everywhere. So there's, just so you can see here, it's a little bit there. One there, all of that, there, there. They look exactly the same. They look like a spring, is the easiest way to put it. It looks like an actual spring that's sort of wrapping around in a sort of, and they can go both directions, so they can go down and up and that. And the way that I like to, well, what I made up myself, I guess, is I call it a rank adjustment. Because if you think about it, if you've got 1 million items, well, I say you've got 100,000 items, and they're all moving rank, because people are buying different amounts, 2 of that, 1 of that, and then that item isn't selling, that item's buying 5 and 2 and 1 and da-da-da. They're all moving. So if you had to have like a chart of the best sellers, they're all fluctuating. Imagine a stock exchange, like all the things are moving, you know, moving up and down and moving around, and the value, everything's changing, and what the value that you attribute to a rank is changing all the time. So if this wasn't selling, say it sold 1, and another item, identical rank, let's say 50,027, was sold 0. This sold 1, but then an item above it sold 2, and then the item below it sold 3, or you know, so like all of the ones around this number within a couple of thousand were all selling different units. The rank that it is at would have to adjust to move around the others that are either selling or not selling. You see what I'm trying to say? So by it going up, it means that something above it might have actually made a sale, so it's now dipped in below this, which is pushing this up, and it's happening over thousands of products. So you know, you can see that yes, it's going up, which is normally meaning no sale. But when you see it the other way around, it goes down. So you can see this, it's going from 75,000 ranking to a 56. Now you're thinking a sale, and that may be maybe 1 sale. So this is not an accurate representation of anything. We don't actually know. Even like Buybot Pro or FBA Multi-Tool don't actually know the exact. It's sort of an algorithm they built up over time and just sort of figuring out things. But this would be like, the reason it's going down is that say it's made one sale in, how long is that? Like a couple of days. But it's not enough to really register on the Keepa graph because it needs a couple of sales for it to really change. If this is making one sale and so's the item above it and so's the item above that and the one below that and the one below that, then the ranks are not going to really change, is it? Even though they have made a sale. So it's just adjusting around the others, but in the opposite way. So actually, the items below it are getting worse or not selling, and this is actually becoming a better product, even though it's not selling itself, or maybe it's just selling one unit. So you might think it's sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 times up to this point, but it hasn't. It may have sold 1, possibly. So I would say 1. If I really wanted to, but I normally go with 0. 1 if it doesn't really make a difference. The odd unit here and there doesn't change. And the same here, you can see them all. So they're sort of false readings. The way that you can tell a proper reading is that it does not look consistent as a spring. Now this doesn't really look like a spring, but it's the same. It's just like a V, lots of V's, I guess. But you can tell the rank. This is when you get a proper sale. It goes from 47 to 23. And you can see these little get 50 to 11. No, 50 to 20 to 11. That's probably 2. 2 sales to 5 sales. Now, each dip isn't representing only as 1 sale, because obviously you can see these dips are sometimes far greater than other dips, so that probably represents a couple of sales. That's why it's very difficult to pick up an exact number, like 21 units have been sold in 1 month, because it's very difficult. But it's more like a guide. So here you can see this little period here, there's a lot more proper sales than there is this way. Now that probably is because if you look this way, I can't let go of this because it will zoom in, but well, let's just do it. The average selling price is at £60 pretty much. Yes, it goes down here, and yes, there's a bunch here, but if you're looking at the top, the bottom, and the medium, you're looking at 59 or 60, yeah? Now, for the later period, from this bit, it's actually around 52. So that brings the price down, meaning it's more desirable, more cost-effective, because people could also look around the websites and find out that actually it's higher on Amazon, but it's not too much higher. They can get next-day delivery. But if it's a massive gap, like 30 quid, they're willing to drive down to Argos 20 minutes, you know? It's that sort of thing. And yeah, so you can sort of get a gauge by that. And I would look at this. I normally look at about a month because I don't like to really try to keep stock for more than a month because I want to get it. I'd rather make half the amount of profit and get it in and out 3 or 4 times a month than get 50 or 60% profit in one item, but it takes a month to sell because you're making 100% ROI getting it in and out 4 or 5 times rather than getting it in and out once and making 50 or 60%. So I hold up to 3 months if something changes on the listing, but a month is usually what I sort of go for. So here that's just rough. I normally just do it rough hand. Usually I'd read this, but it's a little, you know, it's just easier to zoom in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Literally so rough. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 32. But I did look at the rank and it was quite low, 9,000. 32 in a month. I'd probably say it's more to 50. What does it actually say on here? 26. Yeah, I personally say it's about 35, 30 to 50. I'd say 50 is probably a bit too high. But again, you don't need to know if it's 50 or 35 because I would say never buy 35 and never buy 50 of this. Okay, so normally the sale lasts a little bit of time, so I would buy 10. I'd probably buy. Depends how much money you got. If you got a lot of money, buy 10, and then maybe hold to Christmas because it's not far. Worst case, hold to Christmas. If it's in the year, I'll probably buy 6, 4. You know, if you buy 4 of 2,000 different products, you don't need to worry about having, that you go out of stock on it if you can't get it, because you've got so many different avenues to sort of take the buy box. Because the more, if you have 4,000 listings, I'd rather have that than like 20 of 1,000 listings, because my visibility on the buy box will be 4 times that on these lower units. And yes, I might sell out, but I'm going to have higher sales earlier, and then with that money I can then just reinvest. As long as you can keep the deal flow up, you're good. I would then also think, let's say we're going to go with, an average of 30 sales. So that's worst case, let's say 30 sales, and you can sort of, it's about the same. If I said like 2 or 5, I'd probably like either think this is wrong or something I've done is wrong. But yeah, I'd say that. So let's go for 30 a month. There's 12 sellers, so we actually aren't going to get 30 ourselves. We're going to have essentially divided by 12. But it doesn't quite work like that, because you've got non-FBA sellers. Usually they won't get the buy box, so that one FBA seller is not going to get the same share. And then if you look up here, the values, so I would say here, or 58, probably the 58s above are holding it out for Christmas or for everyone else to sell out. So I would be only thinking there's going to be maybe, let's use this, 55, 56. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 FBAs. So actually now I'm going to divide the 30 by 5. Sorry about that, just accidentally paused it. I'm trying to click the back button, but it's actually hidden behind something. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I'm going to say 5 sales, so 5 sellers that I'm going to compete with. IB number 6. So if we were going to have 30 units, it sells a month. I'm actually dividing that by 6 potential players in the game. Sometimes you can see their stock, but it's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't see the number of units they have in stock. So it says 5. So as I said, I'd buy up to 10, only if I had a lot of money in the bank. Like I was saying, if I had £5,000 in the bank, I probably won't worry about making £8, but over a couple of months, because I've got so much money. I've got so much money that I'm just willing to make a little bit over time, so it's accumulate it. Let me just move this little cursor so that I can actually see everything I'm trying to look at. So I'm just bringing the screen down a bit so I can actually see all my information. So for anyone that's probably new, maybe 4, because it's quite an expensive product. Let's say it costs $29.99. Obviously that's okay. We don't need to look at this. I can close this page anyway. It's been a bit of an annoying. So yeah, 5 or 6 units. And also, I'm looking at this. You can see this graph here. It doesn't matter, this loading. This graph here just shows the number of sellers, and you can see up and down, and it's not too much of a fluctuation. It's doing something. Let's see if we can get back. So you also need to make sure you have the bottom graph. The bottom graph just shows you the number of sellers at any given period. And the reason that's good is because you can use that to do that calculation I've just done to see how many units maybe to buy. Because over the year, things become... the number of sellers does change, which would then, the more sellers, the lower the price, the less sellers, the higher the price, just by competition. That's just the standard competition, how it works. So if we go to a year view, this is what I'm going to show you. So at a 3-month, you would think that looks pretty static. And the reason that, see, if you go to here, 8 sellers is at £60, and then if you go up here, 20 sellers is at 52. So as the sellers goes up, the price goes down. Okay, and it's now gone back up again. Oh no, it hasn't. It will do, because the people that are left are probably just a couple of people. But you can see here, the lower the sellers, the higher the price is normally on average. But if you go for a year view, you can see here. Now, this is at Christmas time. And this is the date, November 18th. So you can see this is when toy sales are going crazy. It's 2 for 1s, there's 6 for 70, and I'm trying to say there's just deals everywhere for everything. So you would say, if you were looking for Q4 as well, this is just sort of on the side, you might be like, okay, what will Q4 hold? What if I bought like 30 of these and just hold them? Can I make loads of money in Q4? Maybe, if it sells out, so you can see here, it really sold out like December 3rd. Like, there was no one selling this. The rank here, the rank of the 3 and 5,000 here is about 5 to 10 times more volume or more purchasing than it is at a normal at rank 4,000, because everything, imagine like everything is pumped, so everything has got more sales, therefore the rank wouldn't actually change for anything because everything is having more sales. If it was weighted and only a handful of things are having more sales, then the rank for them would be low, but because everything across the marketplace is obviously having sort of like 200% in sales increase, the rank actually looks the same. So that's why this number of sales has just plummeted, because the number of products being sold here, we might actually be able to get a little bit of a reading. Does it say? No. I'll have to go back onto that another time. So you can see here, I mean, yes, it does go down to £47 and stuff, but as it goes right down here, it's selling at like £90. And there's no, but the problem is it gets so expensive that Amazon don't provide you the buy box. So you can see here, there's no little buy box sign when you get to this sort of little area. It doesn't mean people aren't buying it, because you can see it's still fluctuating here with that little rank thing I said. So they don't look like it's false readings, remember? We'd have to drill in, so we just drill in. There's not really many false readings. There's a couple there, there's a couple up there, one there, a little one there, a little one there. But most of it's actually sales, and that you can see here it's going crazy. December, and there's no one selling. But you can see a seasonality, like, and then what happened? Obviously, you come to the beginning of January, there must have been another sale, like January sales, and boom, the number of sales just jumps. So you've got to be wary of that, because whenever I'm buying a deal, you're buying a deal, someone else is buying a deal, so's another 1,000 online arbitrage sellers. Probably more than that. No, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. And here you go, you can see what I meant by Amazon. So this is what Amazon looked like on the listing, and they came on it a little bit there, but most of the time they haven't, and I would buy that. So, and another quick thing is, sorry, I know I'm going into a little bit depthy, but is that you can have a quick, normally on these extensions, you can just see here. So in Spain it's ranked 6,000, and it's selling at €76. So you've got to do the calculations, but it actually might be great to pick up another, if you're selling 5 or 6 in this country and you can see that you can sell 5 or 6 in that country, now you're actually going to be buying 12 units, because you can just go across marketplaces. So it's really good to sort of check out the other marketplaces in these sort of instances. But I'm going to jump onto another product to show you not just about what Keepa is and how to read it, but something else. So I'm jumping over to a product called Hair Blast Chewable Vitamins. I've seen this in a group somewhere. Originally, when this came up on a deal sheet, I think, and I probably found it on a search, I did not sell it, because this looks like an obvious private label product. I mean, no one's heard of Hair Burst, so it's probably a reasonably new product, let's say a couple of years. I don't know, I'm just going by what I feel. I don't want to get any suspensions. I don't want to get any policy warnings, because the more policy warnings you have and they go against your account, it's just going to cause issues. And yeah, worst case scenario, you get suspended, and then you can never sell on Amazon again. So, and now you can see there's only one seller, JMH Cosmetics. So yes, it probably says you can sell it, and actually, if you look here, it sells for $19.99, and you can buy 2 for £20. So you're like, awesome, that's buy loads. Keepa looks great. Look at these sales. Awesome. Really, really strong price. Doesn't change. Even here, 21. That price is awesome. Two things to look at. One, there's one seller. And actually, now I'm going to remember JMH Cosmetics and think, the only reason I know is because I think people got policy warnings for selling this a month or so ago. So I'm now going to remember that anything that JMH Cosmetics sells, I'm probably not going to buy anymore. So I always just have a quick check. And also, if you see a company that says Hair Burst, the company here is the same as a company that sells. Don't buy it. And by looking at Keepa, you might be like, you know what, this is great. Like I can sell loads of these a month. Like there's one seller. I mean, this is amazing. Like I can do loads of sales. Yeah. But what I'm going to show you is this. Now look at this. This is if I zoom out. Yes, Amazon did sell it. Okay, but usually Amazon just do what they want. So ignore that. Let's go for a year. There. Now you can see here it's been one seller. So two things to show you. This price here is too structured. Yes, it dips a little bit. It's too structured. That this reaps of no competition for a reason or another. Yeah, there's something happening. The rank here is just perfect. Price is so static, and the number of sellers, yes, it goes up there. It's 1, 1, okay, 2, 1 straight away. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, couple more, and then almost like in a couple of days, like a week, jumps down. Yes, up here. And this is where probably everyone jumped on the bandwagon when Holland & Barrett sold it, and they got a policy one. Now, for me, this is just red flags everywhere, because if you could, I mean, this was this year. I'm sure you could have got this product somewhere. Now, why wouldn't there be more people getting on this product? You know, if you look at these rankings. Yes, it goes up and down. This is much more of a seasonality thing, because you can tell by the top graph it's December and stuff. But it's very, so here it goes up 7, 11, 13. It's very nice. There's no sudden peaks and troughs. I mean, this is, but there's a reason for that. So we're going to talk about after this peak. So after this, it just goes down nicely. There's no crazy up and downs. Here, it's just two. It's like you had 8 sellers here, and then suddenly you had 4, and then it went bang, and then it's back to 1, and then it's no one's ever. So since then, no one's like gone on Holland & Barrett, and I've just showed you can buy it here. No one's jumped on Holland & Barrett and then wants to sell it anymore. What? And this happens to be one seller on a really good product that seems to be making some money, and like the sales are like decent, you know. And that's how you can save your, almost prolong your account as long as possible on Amazon and not have some stupid policy warning just because you don't know how to read Keepa. And you think, wow, I'll just buy 40 of these. Because one, you buy 40 of them, and you're stuck with them. And this happens. So I've never bought this because I saw this at the very beginning, and then I saw some posts about some policy warnings on the item. And it's just like, by reading Keepa, I mean, to me, I look at this for one set. So if I was like here, I go 19.99, one seller, okay, that is awful. And then I go like, no. It's like 10 seconds later, I'm off the item, literally closed. It takes me about 5 seconds, and that's what you need to get to. Because one, it speeds up your process. And then if you want to sell it, obviously, you just type in here, see what's going on with your thing, have a quick look at this, how many sales you think you can do, and then just roughly tally yours, see if they're close, and then make a decision. Have a look on Europe, you know, a couple of minutes, but you could spend half an hour on this. But you just got to be really mindful of a static price, lots of sales, and then pretty much just one seller. And if there's one seller, as soon as it goes to 2, it's sort of going back to 1, rather than going the other way and doing this. So it's not doing this, which it should do. As more sellers come on, there should be more than just 3 people in the whole of the UK finding this product on Holland & Barrett. Because I know it's been on there for a while. It should be going up. It should almost look like this, you know. This looks more accurate because there's probably 37 sellers in this country buying this product, at least. You know, it's hundreds of online arbitrage sellers. You're telling me there's only a couple on this? I mean, yeah. So this is just, and the price and everything, yeah. So it's just awful. And then, last but not least, not this one, I don't think. I was trying to think of a. I don't really want to go into too much detail, but this item here is 130. Sorry about these pop-up things. It's 130,000 in rank. Now these are plugins, and I'm going to go over like another video what plugins you need and what you need to be up and running with to optimize your Q4 for like the best possible outcome. You don't have to have all of it. It's just like what I probably would have as like a base level, entry level or whatever. If you see 130, you think, no, not going to get it. Yes, it's got 1 star. Ignore that for the minute. We're just going to ignore that. Just this is an example. Let's just go on to it. Okay, let's go on to it. 130,000 rank. Now, a lot of people will be like, no, not going to get it. You know, And yeah, okay, I'm not going to get it either. But I'm just trying to show you that, as an example, we're going on a rank is a surefire way to not get any, like, not make long-term profits, because this actually doesn't look too bad on Keepa. You know, there's not many sellers. Okay, there's 11 sellers. I'm guessing a bunch of them are probably like I showed you before, not FBA or priced too high. But you know, what will be August? So since August started, it's done, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's done like 10 sales since August. Okay, nothing special. But if you go pick this up for like 15 quid, 20 quid, 18, you know, I don't know what you can get it for. People are overlooking this straight away, but actually, you read Keepa. If you can make 50% plus on ROI on this product, just pick up a couple. The aim of the game is just to get as many products and on as many listings across as many categories to provide you the most scope or the most what's the best word? Visibility to customers on the buy box. Because if you're doing that, you're then probably going to have higher sales each day, which means you then are provided a higher return when you get your cash outs or payments, or whatever you want to call them, and you get reimbursed, or no, not reimbursed, and you get your money back anyway. From basically getting your money out of Amazon, you're getting it faster, which means you can then put more money in faster and faster. You want to be basically putting in £1 as many times as you can, as quickly as you can, in 1 month, because expenses are only every month. Yeah, if you think about it like that. So if I can get £1,000 in and out every day, that's just, I know it's not possible, every day. So normally you'd buy £1,000 of stock and you could make £2,000 of sales off of that. That's the base rule. You normally buy it for say 20 quid and it will sell for 40. It's not always accurate, 100% depends on the weight and the size and the fees, because it does slightly change with the product. But let's just say we're going to go on that. So every £1,000 I put in, I'm making £2,000 of sales, and of course you don't get the £2,000 back, but let's just go off the sale. We're just going to go off this very basic example. If you could get that in, I could buy it in the morning, it gets sent, it gets picked up from UPS at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it gets booked in at 7 PM that evening, and then it sells by 10 and clears by 11. This is just an example, okay? And it's not going to happen for a long time. As I say, maybe not say it's never going to happen, but as I say, a long time. And then you're getting your money within an hour, as I said, doing a faster payment. So then the next morning you can put that money back in and go on and so on and so on. So let's say you're getting £1,500 back in cash, and you're putting £1,000 in, and it's giving you 2,000. So in a month, I'm not going to go over the whole month because it just takes ages, but your £1,000 that goes in gives you £2,000 of sales, yeah? In 1 day. So day 1 you've made 2,000 from the 1,000 in sales. Now if you can do that same, so now you've got £1,500 on day 2, which then does 3 grand in sales, which then means that you've accumulated 5 grand in sales from £1,000. And if you can just keep doing that as fast as you can every single day, you could do 50 grand in sales, 60 grand in sales, 100 grand in sales off of the same £1,000. Obviously making £15,000 profit. Now, yes, that's an extreme example, but that is what you really need to be. That is what you basically want to try to bring when you look at what you're doing for this whole thing. So, and by having the 4 units of this, 4 units of this, some people don't think anything under 10 or 8 is worth it, or if there's only if it's only selling I sometimes buy 2 units of things if it's giving me enough ROI. If it's doing, I can get above £5, I've got enough money, fine, I'll buy 2, because won't just buy 2 and then check out and buy it. I'll buy 2 of that. I'll spend £300 and get 30 items and 2, at 2 each or whatever, or 15 items at 2 each. And do it like that. And as long as you just want to be getting in and out as fast as possible. And Q4, because it does go, it just compounds and compounds in and out so much. You can just, off of almost relatively low amount of capital, you can just do some ridiculous sales. And once you've actually then let that capital rest, say on the 22nd of December, because obviously you don't want to put any more money in, and then you start over about sort of 7 to 10 days, you start getting all these payments, but you're not actually buying stock. You notice all this money coming into your account, 3 grand here, 4 grand here, 6. Before you know it, you're above 10 grand in your bank, and it's just like, I only had 2 grand. and it keeps going. You know, it depends on how much you put in. And it's just because you have to think there's only 1 month's lot of expenses, outgoings, salary, sourcing software, but there's almost unlimited. Well, it's not unlimited, but you know, there's almost an unknown amount of times you can cycle through the capital. So that's how you need to sort of adopt it, and that's how I adopt it. And things like reading Keepa here, I know I sort of went off on a tangent, I do it all the time, but it's just trying to give you a little bit of like an outside insight into things you may have not already thought of. And by reading this, I could, you know, if I can get it cheap enough and I've got the money, and you know, I've got the source of finance, I might buy for Christmas. I could buy 4, 6 of these, and then 4, 6 of that, 4, 6 of that, 4, 6 of that, 4, 6, and then just keep going and literally just push it. And the more you push it, the more you do it, you actually will see that Q4 will just be ridiculous. And as soon as you get your money back, and even before you've got your money, knowing you're going to get it, you're planning to what you're going to be purchasing. Just little things, and I'll be going all over loads of videos like this. And it's actually turned into a ridiculously long video. But I'm just trying to provide my insight. Because a lot of people I know probably would have not thought of half of the things I've mentioned. And maybe people think it's a load of crap, which is fair. But, you know, I'm just trying to... Everyone looks at things differently. And some people will think what I've said is good. Some people think it's probably not. Or maybe they don't want to go. Like, they're happy just to plow on as they are and see for themselves how it works out, which is fine. But I just think I'm going on what I wish I sort of could have learned or known last year to maybe just done a bit better. I don't know. You always want to do a bit better, don't you? And actually see the rewards for the time that you're putting in. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully you've got some insight from that. Sorry if I went a bit too fast. I just didn't want the video to be like over an hour. So yeah, that's it for I guess episode 2 of the Q4 run. But I'll be bringing more. Hopefully, if you liked it, just smash the thumbs up, like, subscribe, whatever else they put on these things, and comment if you want to see anything, see any videos maybe for me to do. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it, and see you on the next video. Ciao.